Okay, finally. Sometimes you really have to have patience for all of this stuff to work out. So, welcome everybody. I am on my public profile instead of Coffee Talk, the group. So, this is Coffee Talk, and I have coffee. I don't know if you do, Eena, but this is my friend Eena from India. And
Hello.
we're here to just chat about possibilities and stuff and whatever's up. So, hi.
Hi.
How's it going? What time is it there?
It is about 10 something in the evening, in the night.
Mm, yes, and it's just before 10 in my morning. I just love how, wherever you are, you
Oh,
connect with people who are awake.
yeah,
Um,
true.
so since we don't have any particular topic to start with, is there anything that's been up in your world lately that you want to chat about?
Um, yeah. One of the things that I have been actually recognizing about myself, but also like stepping into more and more as a choice is like being happy or being joyful. And it's quite interesting how it's getting easier. Yay. So uh and one
I
of the
love
key
that.
elements, yeah, one and no matter what's going on, that's the fun bit. That's the fun part. That no matter what's going on, no matter, you know, um, you can have a bit of humor about everything, and then like how happiness is a choice. Like it's really sort of I'm really getting like the
Hmm.
sense of that more and more.
Hmm.
How it's not based on outside um,
Circumstances. Yeah.
sources.
Yeah. I get that too. That's so cool. Yeah, over the weekend I was doing a lot of stuff and not finding what I was looking for per se. And Sunday early afternoon, I was like, oh my God, I'm just so tired. And I thought, well, I'll just take a nap. And then I slept for 2 hours. I never take a nap. I slept for 2 hours and then I got up and went on a beautiful bike ride. And I was like, the day doesn't have to look like anything in particular. You don't have to do and accomplish to be happy. You can just choose and be
Yeah,
happy.
that is the key, isn't it? Yeah, you nailed it because I was just getting that. It's like when when you don't have sort of expectations of how something has to turn out, you can actually enjoy it whichever way that it's presenting itself. And yeah,
Yeah. And I spent a little bit of time with my daughter, and at one point she was cranky about something. And when people get cranky, we tend to go into this like, I don't want to step on anybody's eggshells or, make it worse. And I was like, forget that. No. And I'm like, if you're going to be like this, I'm going to change what I'm doing today. And she's like, just leave me alone for a minute. I'll get over it. Oh, okay. And it all changed and it was a great day.
I love that. I love that. In fact, like just before this call, I kind of posted a couple of things on my Insta because we're renovating our place here in Chandigarh where I am currently, and we are like it's sort of like a farm stay. I mean, well, it's a farm, not farm, because we have more like a vegetable garden and a food garden than a farm.
Mm,
But we're like we're sort of working on it, and we are like, you know, sprucing it up a little bit for more ease and more beauty.
mm,
And one of the things that I was like, today I was like, okay, I can do with the magic wand, like universe, can I have this yesterday? But also it's like so interesting because earlier maybe it would have been like there wasn't any sense of frustration, but there's a sense of one recognizing that I'm I'm willing to have it yesterday, like everything
Mhm.
that I'm asking for. Um, and also that there's a joy of bringing that into the world and making that available for more and more people to enjoy. So it's not really from that space of, lack or that we haven't achieved it. I'm still enjoying it and I'm like, can it be faster? Can it be quicker? And so yeah, so let's see what shows up.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, isn't that with everything? Yeah. Even like changing your body, and it's kind of fun. I've been asking my body to do different things and wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and be like, wow, this changed, that changed. How does it get better than this? And running energies and stuff. It's super fun to see that things don't have to stay exactly the same. Like your body can shift and change all the time. And depending on,
Yeah,
what you're asking of it and projecting onto it, it changes based on that too. Yeah.
true, true.
So wanting it yesterday, but having patience. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yep,
Yeah.
it is.
And like what you were saying in the beginning with, being happy no matter what's going on. I've been noticing that a lot too. It's like, you can get frustrated, if you need to. You can get frustrated for a moment, but like that doesn't really create anything. And so oftentimes it just turns into laughter. Like, okay, now what?
True, true. I've been like I'm spending a lot of time with horses these days, and
Mm,
like pretty much like every day. And it's so interesting that because you can't have you like this sort of perfect scenario. It's like, I mean, you have to be willing to look like a fool. You have to be willing to goof up, be goofy, and to be able to be present with horses and be and ride with them and work with them. Because otherwise, you're just like, and so oftentimes it doesn't really go with the planning of it, but you're kind of aware of what you might want to well, it's more like from the space of like what can we create together and what can we create today. And so that is sort of seeping in everything else, like you mentioned with your body, with relationships, definitely. Those are the trickiest ones, I think. But also with creations and with business, it's really like from that space of what can we create together. And that is that is so much more fun than having a totally panned out strategic plan in place of um, you know like you can be aware of the steps but also be willing to change it and be willing to uh, go this way and like my horse refused to move yesterday and I was like okay so what give it a moment. We'll see what's going on. What am I being? What's for you being and like being present with what's going on. And then you kind of sort of get a sense of what's actually available rather than where you've decided, I want this. And so so then like all I had to do was like, okay, so where can we move? And so rather than like doing a circle, it was about just taking a round, and it started to move. And that's what I'm realizing more and more. Like, is this making any sense?
It is to me, at least.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
The,
yeah. So
it's,
yeah, so it's interesting like
yeah,
how when we think that, oh, this is the path that my business or my creation or my life has to take, and it sort of is not going in that direction, it seems, then it's like going, oftentimes we think that means that we have to stop movement, but often it is about, okay, so what different movement is available now? Like where else can we move? Like, what can be moved?
right.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And sitting in the it's stopped, it's not moving, what do I do is not really being in the question. So,
yeah,
yeah, what other direction, what other choice, what else is possible? What would allow this to grow again? Those are more generative questions. And I know I've been stuck in the former many times. It's funny, usually at the end of the year, I'm a jeweler, so my jewelry business, it's holiday time and that's like the culmination. And usually in January, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna still have a business? Like, do I are people gonna still want stuff? And every year I would do this for years, every year. And then, the first order comes in or the first call of like, oh, I want this. It's like, oh, okay. Yes, it's going to continue. But it's a crazy space to be in. So what would you suggest to
definitely
somebody
more fun.
who's in the place of like, oh my gosh, everything stopped?
I would go like, what's changed? Because
Mm,
like even if we don't recognize it, we are asking for so much. Like we're continuously asking. I mean, whether you ever use an access tool or not, you are. I mean, that's how you're choosing. You're going, okay, maybe I'm going to get up and take a shower. Like that's you going. You're like you're choosing and you're asking for things. Hey, I would like to, add someone or hire someone or have a relationship, whatever that you're looking for in your life. So like when we start asking for it, things start changing for that to occur or that to show up in a way it oftentimes doesn't look like how we expect it to. So sometimes we have our blinkers on. So it's always like I find myself whenever I find that I go to what's changed, and anyone can do that with whatever's going on for anyone who's listening now or in the future, like whatever you have going on in your life or in your business and your creation or your relationships, like what have you been asking for and what's changed
yeah.
and what is it
Is this
now?
part of the process of
What is it
change? Yeah,
now?
exactly.
Yeah. And what is it today and what is it now and what is it being now and what does it require now and what is this person being now is such a great place to actually function from, because the moment we actually start looking at a past reference point, we sort of start negating everything we've asked for that started to change and develop into something different and something um, greater. So yeah, and it's so interesting. Like the moment you ask that, like something will occur, like and will more and more you'll choose it. Someone will call you and give you the information that, oh, okay, so like the business is expanding and growing on its own as well. Uh, I, like the buck doesn't stop at me. Thank God. If it
Right.
stopped, everything stopped at me, nothing could move.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
also, I know a lot of people like that energy of starting something. And so you get to a
Mhm.
certain place of creation, and sometimes we stop so that we can start again. So sometimes
That's
we
really
have
cool.
to
Yeah.
acknowledge, wow, I really love starting things, but you don't have to stop you could start something else while this is continuing.
Yeah. Yeah, we had like we were looking at, so like we have like this produce that comes out of the farm. And we mostly it's like, the fallen mangoes, and then we'll make something out of them, and make it available for whoever would like it, like different things. So we're kind of playing with different things that we make and we sort of enjoy ourselves, and then we'll see who else, and trying different sort of recipes and new things. But it's interesting that, but we while the sort of renovation is going on, we were looking at how, um we needed someone to be able to come in and stitch a few things for us, like a
Mhm.
like a tailoring job, like a hand tailoring stitching job. And so we found this lady, and we asked somebody, and she said this lady. And so she said, yeah, yeah, she's great. Like, I'm great at stitching. I'll come and I'll meet you and I'll do it. She came, and like the first couple of hours, like she kept doing everything else that also the business required except stitching and tailoring. And we kept asking her, like, we kept asking like different things, like, hey, do you want to try this? Maybe this is fun. And she's like, you know what? I really don't enjoy it. Like, she literally lied on her resume that she's a tailor and she can stitch.
Oh
But you
my
kind of
God.
sense like when you're asking for what your business requires. But she's been such a boon and such a gift, because she's been like coming in and doing a lot of other things that are keeping the business moving and growing and sort of expanding,
Wow.
and the place moving, rather than that one job that we thought she's going to do. She
Right.
didn't pick up the needle at all.
Oh my gosh,
She's
that's
like, I
so
can't put
cool.
the thread through the needle. I can't do it.
It is
So we're
funny
like,
how it
okay, so
gets
what would you
harder.
like to do? Yeah.
I stitched something the other day and instead of looking, I just put it through, because it's
Ooh.
really hard to see
Yeah.
that tiny little hole, but I just put
Yeah.
it through. And I was like, I am not going to go into that this is a problem and I can't see that tiny little thing anymore because I'm not a teenager. But it wasn't a problem. It
Yeah.
was really interesting because the last time I tried sewing something, it was like, oh my God, I can't get this stupid thread in. So change your point of
Yeah.
view and you change your
Yeah.
reality. There you go. There's a
Cool.
perfect
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. And it's also recognizing like what you just really don't want to do. There's someone else for it. Like,
Yeah,
she just really didn't want to get into the stitching bit. But when she looked at, like, we could see how her eyes were like getting sparkly when she was looking at, ooh, I could do that. Oh, I would love to do that. We're like, go for it. Like, do it.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Very
it's pretty
cool.
cool.
I know we started late, but I have another thing. I need to jump into another group, but just really quick, is there a specialty that you facilitate in access or any
Um,
coming up?
I I do have a call coming up called How Bigger, which is actually a sequel to these energy pools and calls that we did, called a dear friend of mine, that she's also access consciousness certified facilitator from India. And we did a call called How Big, because we sort of how to kind of have more, like, a bigger sense of living and more choice, like bigger playground.
Mhm.
And that went off so well. Like, it's amazing how I'm seeing how I thought it's going to take a bit of a time before, like, uh, people. But it's so interesting. Almost everyone who was on the call, I can sense how much bigger their lives and their businesses have gone. Like, they've all gone on to, like, public, sort of, out in the world in a different way. And so, on popular demand, and because we are greedy for more, we are
Yeah,
going for how bigger. So if
I
anyone wants
love
to
it.
join, that's a call that's available. and you can hop on my website. It's easy, eenabasur.com/events.
I will put that in the show notes. And yeah, thank you for coming on. And
Thank you.
sorry about the technical
Thank you for
difficulties.
having me.
Yeah, it was good and sweet and short. How does it get better? Have a
How
great
does it?
evening, and everybody watching, have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
You too. Bye.